Hey, I've had a lot of people come to me over the years, come into the office. Some of them say, hey, I'm 62 years old. I've got X number of dollars saved up for retirement. Want to go ahead and collect Social Security now. That's the plan. Does it work? First of all, just because you're retiring doesn't mean you have to turn on the switch for Social Security. So if you collect at age 62, you're taking 30% reduction from your full retirement age. And for most people, if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. So you get a 30% reduction at age 62. And anytime in between you can take it, but the reduction is still there, not quite 30%. It's every month. It's a certain amount of reduction. So that's number one. Just because you're retired doesn't mean you have to collect. And just because you turn 62 doesn't mean you have to collect Social Security. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. But let's take a look at this scenario. I think it's very interesting because I get this a lot. My name's Keith Wilson. I'm a financial advisor helping folks just like you navigate these answers, navigate their way through retirement. What's the best option that's right for you? So in this video, we're going to look at this scenario. I'm going to dive into my financial planning software. We'll look at all these scenarios and answer that question. So let's get into it. Let's dive into the financial planning software. I use Right Capital. It's a professional financial planning software. It's designed specifically for financial advisors. And so let's take a look. So here we are. We're going to look at the assumptions first of all. So right now, our clients, Homer and Marge Simpson. Right now they're 61. They want to retire at 62, which their birthday is coming up pretty soon. So we're going to plan for them to retire at 62. Other assumptions that I'm using, I want to use an assumption of a 3.2% inflation rate. I've seen other videos that other advisors do that use these financial planning software, and I've seen them use inflation rates much lower, like 2%, 2.6%. Right now, inflation rates are around 4%. I want to use the historical rate over the last, 75 years, which has been right around 3.2%. I want to get it as realistic as possible. Okay. We're using a 3.2% inflation rate. Let's go back. Again, they're going to retire at 62. That's their goal. And they want $6,000 a month in living expenses to live on. So we're going to use that as well. All right, let's see where they are now. So we see that they have, each one of them, Homer and Marge, $350,000 in an IRA for Homer and $350,000 in a 401k for Marge. IRA, 401k, it's the same concept. It's tax deferred. You pay tax when you pull it out. They have also saved up $100,000 in a savings account. It's in a money market account. Let's go back and look at their Social Security. So for Homer, at his full retirement age, his income benefit would be $2,200. That's his full retirement age. At 62, if he took it earlier, it would be 30% less than that, which $2,200, by the way, is right about the average Social Security benefit at full retirement age. All right, for Marge, hers is a little bit more at full retirement age, $2,400. Her full retirement age is 67. Of course, if she pulled the trigger at 62, she would get 30% less of that. All right, moving on. Again, we told the goals, we told where they are. Let's see if this works. We know they have $800,000. We know that they're going to retire at 62. They came in the office, said, I'm collecting Social Security at 62 as well. Does it work? So when we pull the trigger, plugging in those numbers, and these are very simple numbers, I know I haven't plugged in all the other stuff like healthcare and that. We just want to get with the basics here. So the proposed plan, or the current plan, is 66% degree of success. That's not a very high degree of success. And I know other advisors using Right Capital, looking at degree of success, you might look at it and say, I want a 100% degree of success. I don't agree with that. If you've got a 100% degree of success in this financial planning software, not in life, but in this financial planning software, that means you're leaving a lot of money on the table at death. that you could use. So, all right, Keith, what should it be? I like it between 75-80%. That's kind of the sweet spot. Don't look at this as a grade in school that says, well, 75-80%, that's not great. That's a D plus E average. I don't want that. No. And I've heard other people say, well, if it's a 75 or 80% degree of success, would you get on a plane and the pilot say, hey, we have an 80% degree of success of landing this plane? That doesn't mean you're going to, not survive. So let me make this clear. If this said 80% degree of success, I, as an advisor, am happy with that. All that means is you have a 20% chance that we might have to change something down the road. Maybe you get less in income in certain years. Maybe you change your investment style in certain years. So don't get hung up on that degree of success. 75 to 80 is what I'm looking for. All right, let's move on. What are we going to do? This doesn't look so good because their current strategy is taking Social Security at 62. Let's look at that Social Security analysis first of all. So this graph is showing if they waited until full retirement age, we're planning to age 90, by the way, if they waited to full retirement age to pull the trigger versus taking it early. So by taking it early versus full retirement age, they're going to receive an estimate or projection about $411,000 less in Social Security benefits. Think about that. You've worked all your life to get these Social Security benefits, and you're going to receive less in this example for these people by taking it early. Sometimes it makes sense. I'm just showing you the math. Let's go back to our analysis. Let's see what it would happen if they waited to full retirement age. By the way, 62 to 67, that's 5 years. That means they got to rely on their own savings for 5 years to bridge that gap before they pull the trigger. They want $6,000 a month in income. So that's $6,000 a month if they wait until full retirement age. It's got to fully come from their own investments. So let's take a look if they waited, what their degree of success would be. Remember, I like it 75 to 80. Oh, let's go back. Let's make it full retirement age. Whoo, there we go. That one change made all the difference in the world. Where this big number here is a Monte Carlo simulation that tests, hundreds and hundreds of different scenarios. We look at the median probability, and this is saying if you follow this guideline, there'll still be $434,000 left over. By the way, they're invested in a moderate portfolio, which is 60-40 allocation, 60% stock, 40% bond, pretty balanced right down the middle of the road. So that one change, let's wait till full retirement to pull Social Security. That gives them a greater degree of success. If we go to cash flows, I know I'm getting nerdy, let's take a look. I want to look at those withdrawals from the accounts. So you see here, when they retire at age 62, they're pulling out from their that savings account that they had, $100,000. And they're pulling out from that $100,000 in the next year, until it's depleted. Then they supplement from the traditional IRA because they're making up the difference right here. I'm sorry. Let's take a look. Income flows, Social Security between the two of them. They got a reduction at 62 is $36,000, and then the rest right here is coming from their investments. So that one little change bumped them up to 81%. All right, that sounds good. We could just stop this right now and say, okay, cool, we can do this. Because Keith, you said 75 to 80%. I'll just wait to 67. I'll overdo it in the first 5 years, pulling from my $800,000, starting with the savings account first. But I want to say something, and this is it. They said they want to live on $6,000 a month. And that's just to spend on what they have. By the way, they have no mortgage, they have no debt. This is just their normal lifestyle stuff. Gas, food, groceries, transportation, housing, home, property taxes, all of that good stuff. What if they want to do something fun? We didn't even allocate that, not in their current plan or the proposed plan. So let's see what they could do here if we allocate it, because it's pretty tight. Let's just say they spend an extra $5,000 a year. Now, this figure is going to go down. We know that. And I'm about to give you a little bit of a lesson here. Hey, that's still pretty good. It's almost doable. It's better than the current, which is taking at 62, no fun stuff, just living. And a lot of people can live on $72,000 a year. Let's look at something different. It's too late for them because they've already got $350,000, $350,000 in an IRA, $100,000 in this. Wonder if they did the 3-bucket thing that I always preach about. Wonder if we made all of these even and say I've got, let's say, $250 in savings or a taxable account. Let's reduce this IRA to $200. Let's reduce this IRA to $200 or 401k. And then let's add that other bucket, which is the Roth IRA. It doesn't matter if it was Homer or whoever. Let's just add one big Roth IRA. So we got $650, $150 in an IRA or Roth IRA. Well, that's $750. I did the math wrong. Excuse me. Let's make it $200. No, that's right. $550 and $250 is $800,000. They're same $800,000, but it's spread out between IRAs, Roth IRAs, and taxable or savings account. Now, let's go back. See if that changed anything. I don't know. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because we changed their current plan, but that's for them taking at 62. Now they can take extra fund money. Let's up that fund money. Let's say it's $7,000. I don't know what's going to happen. I want it 75 to 80. Beautiful. This is a lesson of again, when to take Social Security. Does it make sense at 62? Sometimes it does. Should you wait to 67? So you could wait to 70 and get a larger check. We'll look at that in a second. And it's also another lesson of the 3 buckets. But if you're stuck with, hey, this is what it is. I've got $800,000 and almost all of it is in IRA. We can't undo it unless we do Roth conversions, but we're retiring. We need the money. But if we could catch you earlier, we could do more planning. Instead of somebody coming in the office, I'm 62, I'm retiring right now, I just collected Social Security, pulled on the trigger, make it happen. I'm curious to the full age 70, what that does. Now that we adjusted the buckets. A little bit better. All right, we're going to close this out. You get the idea. Can you do it at 62 with $800,000 collecting at Social Security? We just showed you how you could do it. But in this example, sometimes it makes sense to wait to full retirement age. I'm not a big proponent of never taking it at 62. Do not get me wrong, because it's a longevity play. You've got to look at your health. You've got to look at your other buckets. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. In Homer and Marge's example, maybe they should pull it at 67. Hope you found value in this. Hope it helps, gives you something to think about. Hey, why not subscribe to the channel? I got a lot of videos out here on retirement planning. Give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. If you like what you're seeing so far, check out this next video. Subscribe to the channel. Lord willing, we'll see you next time.